Lord, our ninja have sabotaged the gates. わしは戦の前に二つのことをする。クソと刀の手入れじゃ。幾多の経験をしてきた上で言うのじゃ。お主らもわしを見習え。敵軍にもはや逃げ道はない。ここで戦うか全滅するか。追い詰められた獣は危険だが、恐るるに足らん。我が敵に礼を尽くすのは豚と百姓だけじゃ。いや、敵の方が豚百姓にも及ぶまい。ならば撃つべし。命令はただ一つ。この城を落とすことじゃ。たやすいとは思わぬが、必ずできるはずじゃ。兄者は皆を誇りに思っておられるに違いない。この戦に勝ち、兄者をさらに喜ばせようぞ。
Good evening and welcome back to Let's Play Total War Shogun 2 Rise of the Samurai. In our final battle of this Let's Play, Tomomori is assaulting the final Minamoto stronghold of Sagami. As you can see, they have foot samurai, bow attendants, garrison, their general, and these are of course all upgraded in a blacksmith. Now, unlike the last battle, where splitting my forces was a poor choice, in this case I did actually gain a decisive tactical advantage from the force split. Now, these guys are actually hidden in the trees and as such invisible from this side. The objective is to draw the defenders round to this side, wherein I engage them, and I can bring these troops in up here and hopefully seize the flag, or at least pincer movement inside here, tie down their archers perhaps. So that's the objective. Now, as this is the final fight in the campaign, I'm going to be pulling out all the stops to win, and this means that my units are basically, well, they're expendable. A few of them, good friends, they've been with us a very, very long time, but they have fantastic combat statistics, and I have faith that they'll do it. Now, taking on the Bow-Levy garrison, but these foot samurai, as you can see, the Kamakura Minamoto foot samurai, 72 reload skills, 70 accuracy. So they're in the same sort of ballpark as my foot samurai, although admittedly not my very elite foot samurai with rank 7, which is probably about the highest you tend to see in a game, and only if you're very lucky. The fact that Tomomori is also rank 7 is just, I mean, look at those statistics. The man is a living god. So that's all pretty good. But, so basically, this, you've got to play it by the book a bit. We want to get the most out of these warrior monks. There's not a lot of them, so we just move them up to slightly out of range, bring them into range, hit flame arrows and enhance range and open fire. Now, there is a bug in Shogun 2 where if you have multiple ranged units selected and give them a ranged attack order, they do not always follow it. And if they don't follow that particular order, any subsequent orders won't work, which means you'll need to order them individually. So what has happened here is I've lined them up just out of range. I've hit flame arrows, I've hit extended range, and I've said shoot at the foot samurai, because they're the deadly targets. But the bugs kicked in, and instead I swept Bow-Levy garrison off the walls, which is totally useless. I don't really need to kill the Bow-Levy garrison. Now, I've quickly realized that's the case, and changed my targets to these foot samurai, so we will whittle them down. But at the same time, it would have been really nice to hit them with the fire arrows and that big opening salvo and clean a few more of them up. Now, our enhanced range is worn off, which means that it's time to shift our forces up and engage in a good old-fashioned arrow fight. Now, they're behind walls with high-quality troops, so I'm expecting this to be pretty painful. So I'm sending the Levy in first, because if there's one thing that Levy are good for, it is dying. And soaking arrows, although I suppose that's basically the same thing. And you can immediately see off the bat they're starting to have that happen. Now I'll just let them fire their shots, you know, what's that, 2 kills? 2 kills there, you know, they've really done not very much. So, now these warrior monks though, the foot samurai have decided to target them and you'll just watch them melt. So, yeah, 17, And you can just see the constant barrage of fire that comes out of these foot samurai. Foot samurai on the walls are just ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. So these monks are going to be giving it their all. Now switch the bow levy to hit the foot samurai and popped flaming arrows to try to maximize the kill rate. Just to try to whittle those down, because I want those sort of constant... If every man you kill is very, very important in those sorts of scenarios, because they just shoot individually so quickly. Now we can see we're actually starting to whittle them down. We've got them down to not quite half, and that's just going to really reduce the sort of kill power they've got. But it's going to be too late for our poor bow warrior monks here, who are just going to get shredded. 6 left. See, that's the nice thing about bow warrior monks, is there's 5 men left, is they will hold for a very long time until the absolute last minute before breaking, and that's them. 4 men left in the unit. As far as I'm concerned, that's pretty reasonable. Now, these bow levy garrison have been taking shots from the foot samurai, so I don't want to have a foot samurai to foot samurai fight just yet. I want to try to clear up these arrows, clean the bodies off this wall, so just the defenders, and then be able to attack. Now, as you can see, I've brought my other force forward with the objective of securing these walls and coming over, because it's nearly time for the assault. Basically, we've done our skirmishing, we've expended a lot of arrows, we've whittled down one of their foot samurai units to half effectiveness, which should mean, or even less now, which means I should be able to swarm it. They're not going to bring this foot samurai unit over to fight, which means that I'm going to have to take him in melee, but that's not a huge concern because I have more foot samurai than he does now, and that's a lot of firepower. There's a lot of punch in that. So that's also why I'm keeping them out of the ranged fight, is because the levy and the bow warrior monks, they're no use in storming the castle when it hits time to go over the walls. But the foot samurai are incredibly useful in taking the castle over the walls. So if I want casualties, I want the casualties to happen on those ranged troops, because they have no further use for the rest of the game, basically, as this is the last hurrah, the final fight. And so now we bring our troops up, and the objective, with our numbers advantage, at least our unit advantage as well, is to hit all along the walls, all at once. And so that'll mean that they just can't have enough defenders to block all the units, so we can tie them all down, get a man on the capture point, and then just run the clock out. That's the battle plan, so we'll see how that goes. Now, sometimes climbing the walls is quicker than going in the gates, especially if you have multiple units and you want to have them all come in at once. Gates can be... Pathfinding can be very fiddly when you order multiple units in the gates at once. So I've had issues with that in the past, and sometimes it is just easier to send them up over the walls, although you will lose a few of them. So these guys, obviously, going through the gates is the quickest way in, so they're charging right in, and they're just heading right into these levy garrison. I just want to tie them down. The levy garrison outclassed them, 8 melee attack, 5 melee defense, to a 6 melee attack, 8 melee defense. So we're a little bit outclassed there, and they're heavily outnumbered, 90 men versus 120. But that shouldn't be an issue, because we're also flooding through the northern gates here with the objective of catching. So our northern combat groups basically got through. There's 3 foot samurai remaining in that group. These bow attendants are happy to skirmish with our bow levy, and as far as I'm concerned, let them. And we're coming in over the walls and through the gate on this far side. So really, it's going to be a heroic defensive effort by the defenders, but they just don't have the numbers. Now, morale's going to be a bit dicey, and let's face it, this is the final fight, so Tomomori himself is going to take personal charge of the fight. Get in there. Look at him go. What a goddamn legend. Alright, this capital is ours. Plant the flag of the Taira. So, I'm not too enthusiastic about the idea of charging him into Nagi Levy, but I'm just going to form him up. We're going to take pot shots. We're going to drop a rally buff as soon as our morale gets troublesome. As you can see, we're getting tired, but because Tomomori is just such a powerful general, the men still have amazing morale because their flanks are secure, their rear is secure, they're in the aura of a very powerful general, and they have a decisive numerical advantage, a locally superior force. So we've pushed them off with sheer numbers. the capture point. As you can see, we've just got 20 seconds left on the clock. There's 27 garrison there, 30 garrison there, 18 garrison there, still 40 foot samurai left, but that really is unlikely to be too much of a problem because we just have, there's our foot samurai, they're doing amazing things, and they're just charging through and cleaning everything up. You know how there was 20 there a second ago and now there's none of them? Yeah, foot samurai, they're amazing. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, I present to you the final castle in our Let's Play, courtesy of Tomomori. It's been an absolute pleasure to do this Let's Play for you all, and I sincerely hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a great evening.